Hello, and welcome to the PowerPlay discussion series. I'm Darren Peters, founder and managing partner of the Peter Damon Group, and we have a fabulous show in store for you today. I want to introduce to you our guest, legal advisor, children's book author, HBCU graduate, and a whole host of other great things, Hope Goins. Hope is one of the most senior level staffers in the U.S. Congress. She has over 15 years of experience in public service. She's responsible for advancing policy and legislation with the congressional leadership, and she shares her unique experiences globally through her writing, keynote speeches, and panel discussions. She's a graduate of Tougaloo College, University of Arkansas School of Law, and someone I consider a friend. So I'm happy to have Hope here with us today. So welcome to the Power Play discussion series, Hope.
Hey, Darren. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Great, great. So let me just start off with, some congratulations on the success of your new book. Yes, Hope is an author. She has a book called The Adventures of Chris and Chloe. It's receiving a lot of positive reviews all over social media, and I know you recently were had a book signing at the Essence Festival in New Orleans. Can you give us a little bit more insight on your book and what inspired you to write it and all of those great things about why you're doing something that's so different than what you do in your normal everyday life?
Sure. So, with my book, it's a children's book. The targeted ages are 5 to 9, but I actually consider it a book for all ages. It is about the three branches of government, and the book's protagonists are children. If you look at many children's books, you do not have, I would say, less than 10%, and that is actual data on this. Less than 10% of children's books actually have children as a protagonist, and less than 5% have Black children as protagonists. And I thought that what better? I mean, I've worked in the legislative branch, like you told everyone, for 15 years now. And there are things that we just seem to forget. We forget our government classes that we took when we were in grade school. And I thought it would be good to have a civics lesson in the content with Black children taking you through that civics lesson. And that's what my book is. It's a short civics lesson on the three branches of government, discovering the legislative, executive, and judicial branches and how they work together. I did do a signing at the Essence Book Music Festival. They have a daytime cultural festival, but children of all ages in all states, not even just, and actually anywhere. My book is a great start on how to learn how the US government functions. It is broken down. It is not written in an adult way. It is broken down. And a lot of people have told me, a lot of adults have said, I forgot this stuff. And this is something that is much needed. It is the first in a series. I will be writing books, just one book on the legislative branch, another on the executive, another on the judicial. But this was my start. And I was inspired to start. Darren, you know this all too well. People do come to you and get confused. I've worked in the legislative branch. People have come to me and asked me what it's like to work for Obama, what it's like to work for Biden, and I do not know because I have not. But those are just things that people seem to get mixed up. And I was like, you know what? We could sit back and redo this, and the book has been received very well.
Well, hopefully it'll be the new version of, that schoolhouse rock. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. Now
Yes.
we have these young people have a new way of learning about our legislative process. So congratulations and keep that going as much as you can. Um, my next question is related to, where you hail from. You're a Mississippian. You
Yes.
went to Tougaloo College,
Mhm.
and And you also went to the University of Arkansas School of Law, which I'm from Arkansas, and I actually spent some time at the University of Arkansas School of Law in Little Rock. Were you in Little Rock or
I was
Fayetteville?
in Fayetteville.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about those experiences, the Tougaloo College experience, as well as your law school experience.
Okay, so I'm from Grenada, Mississippi. It's a town south of Memphis. Um, I grew up there with my family, extended family, grandparents, cousins. Everybody's from Grenada. Made the decision to, knew I was going to make the HBCU decision. Knew that pretty early on in my high school career. Made the decision to go to Tougaloo College. Went to Tougaloo College, made a great amount of friends. At Tougaloo had a good amount of exchange programs and feeder programs, and actually educated most of the doctors and lawyers in Mississippi went to Tougaloo. When I went to Tougaloo, I did not think I was going to be a lawyer, and a lot of my friends ended up being doctors, and they wanted to be. When I was in undergrad, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Was thinking, toying around with being a professor, just looking at different professions, and I had friends that people I made friends with when I was at Tougaloo. Parents were administrators at the University of Arkansas, and they're the ones that actually recruited me to Fayetteville for law school. And I was like, well, I really just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I got into law school, went to law school, and that's kind of what happened with the educational journey. After law school, still didn't know what I was going to do, and decided I would come to DC for just a little while. I had not really worked for Congress. I had not done an internship. I wasn't in any of these pipeline programs that I really, really like. I wasn't a CBCF fellow. I was anything like that. Had never. I've been to DC several times because my brother used to live here, and I decided, and actually, when I moved here, he had left. Um, and I went to my hometown congressman, who actually wasn't my hometown congressman at the time, but
Mm.
he went to Tougaloo College. So through my alumni association, I went to him to get some career advice, and career advice ended up leading to an extremely low level job on the committee. When I first started on the committee, I didn't even have a desk. I tell people that, and they get so shocked. Uh, but I didn't. I sat at a table in the walkway, which I don't allow people to do now. But I sat at a table in the walkway, and things just progressed from then. I took on a lot of writing assignments, written material, and immersed myself in the work. A lot of times people ask, was that something you always wanted to do? And I very truthfully say no. The committee that I work for is one of the newer committees when it comes to Congress. So it wasn't even the field wasn't even presented to me through my educational journey. But now that's where I am. It is a field that is huge, growing, and needed in every area of life, every sector. Touches on, I work for Homeland Security Committee, touches on Homeland Security. And so sometimes you just have to be open and go where you're led.
I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, your journey sounds a little bit similar to mine. Like, I was in the University of Arkansas School of Law when Bill Clinton decided to run for president, and I decided to take a leave of absence just to, get some experience on the presidential campaign. He ended up winning. I came to D.C., and then, it's just kind of took advantage of the opportunities that were presented to me, but also at the same time was dedicated and committed, and trying to work hard and learn as much as I can. So I hope these younger people who are pursuing opportunities in DC understand that You don't arrive at the top. You gotta work, you gotta learn, and eventually you'll get there. Just with patience and perseverance.
Yeah.
So you're staff director on the House Homeland Security Committee, and you've been recognized for cultivating one of the most diverse staffs on Capitol Hill. You know, um, can you tell us a little bit about you know the importance of recruiting a diverse team, and not just for your committee, but in any endeavor?
Certainly. One thing I will say is that the Homeland Security Committee has been diverse ever since Chairman Thompson has taken the lead. So whether he was chairman, ranking member, as long as he's been the most senior Democrat on that committee has been diverse. Long before the House recognized the value of diversity, or before we had an Office of Diversity and Inclusion in the House, and we do. We are the most diverse committee in the United States Congress, House and Senate combined. But one of the things is, and I say that, and I mentioned Chairman Thompson, because diversity has to start at the top. So you have to have your leader enforce that and make sure that your team is diverse, and keep on saying it. Say, I want a diverse team, I want a diverse team. I would say with our committee in particular, it's extremely important because we're the committee that is tasked with writing the laws and enforcing the policies that for America. And we need to look like America. We need to have people from all over the country. We need to have people with different ethnic backgrounds. We need to have women, and we do have that on our committee. I think it's also great for Congress. Since I've been on the Hill, I've seen the growth. I'm affiliated with the Congressional Black Associates, the Black Women Congressional Alliance, and I'm also on the board of the House Chief of Staff Association. And one of the things with that is that we do put on a lot of programming, and we also try to get in touch and have our own programs, and make sure that we pipeline to get people in the door. But the thing is that once again, when you're working for Congress, you really and truly sit down and write laws. You sit down and write laws that people that you will never meet or never interact with have to will end up having to abide by. And when it comes to policy making needs to be made with middle America in mind, with Black America in mind, with Hispanic America in mind, with the South in mind. And you can't do that if you go into these rooms with homogenous people and homogenous thinking.
I mean, that's great and inspirational. So, I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but man, I hope you're, gonna pursue a different form of public service at some point, where people can go into that voting booth and pull a lever that says "Hope Goins." But that's a conversation for another day. Let me ask you our final question, and this is a question we ask all of our guests. If you could make one power play, like a change in the world, something that changes your industry, society, culture for the better, what would it be and why?
You know what? I would have a requirement for public service. I really would. And it could be at any level. It could be at county, state, or legislative, federal, legislative, executive, judicial. But I think that it would be we would have a societal benefit by having a mandatory 6-month public service requirement. When people see what actually goes into public service, the importance of public service, and how that really enhances their communities and enhances your neighbors, It just gives you a different appreciation for your country, a different appreciation for your city, a different appreciation for your community. So that would be my power play. I would have a 6 month public service requirement, military, like I said, military, state, local, federal public service requirement for everyone.
Yeah, that's commendable. So you heard it here, folks. Public service, at least 6 months. A lot of places do that, I think, outside of the U.S. Well, they do military service, maybe not necessarily public service, but I think that's, if we could get there, I think, this place would be much better. So look, Hope, we want to thank you for joining, but we also want to make sure that our audience is able to keep up with you. So can you let us know where our viewers can find you on social media or on the web?
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn. My name, Hope Goins, on LinkedIn. You can follow my book on Instagram, The Adventures of Chloe and Chris. That's on Instagram, and then The Adventures of Chloe and Chris.com for the book. But that's where I am. And then, of course, you look up Homeland Security Committee. That's how you'll find out what I'm doing professionally on a day-to-day basis. Thank you.
Well, Hope Goins, folks. We want to thank you again for stopping by the Power Play discussion series, and we definitely want to wish you continued success. As a reminder, the Power Play discussion series is a monthly discussion of substantive new and emerging ideas with power players who are shaping our future with their dynamic and innovative leadership. You can catch this series on the Peter Damon Group social media platforms at Peter Damon Group on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So until next time, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.